The Temple Theater in Saginaw, Michigan is a place where stories are made. Since 1927, through thick and thin, the theater thrives because of its ability to create lasting bonds and enriching experiences as families, friends, and neighbors gather together. During each episode of Theater Stories, we're listening in on how the Temple Theater influenced lives in large and small ways. Thanks for listening. Now on with the show.
Nancy, I wanted to reach out to you. We had posted a theater story by Janet Martineau last week, and she had mentioned that she was in the theater with a bunch of teenagers that were sobbing. And you had commented that you were one of those people in the theater.
Yes.
So we wanted to connect this small world and learn more about your story and your experience that day at the theater.
Well, I came from my dad before World War II was a teacher. And one of the things he loved teaching was Shakespeare. So I had been exposed to him quoting Shakespeare all of the time. And to me, it was kind of something to aim at. But I had never seen a Shakespeare movie at that point because back when I was growing up, there weren't all the movies on TV, the old movies, except for Channel 9 out of Detroit. It actually was out of Windsor. But I had never seen Shakespeare. And when Romeo and Juliet came out, and it was teenagers, and we were teenagers, it was just something that me and my girlfriends, and actually I think it was my college freshman friends, either that or my high school senior friends, we all dressed up for some reason. And I mean, really dressed up to go see the movie. Not just because it was the Temple, but because it was Shakespeare. And you had that kind of regard for Shakespeare. I even remember what I wore. I remember I had this special dress that I had gotten for Christmas. I don't know if you know what a houndstooth pattern is, but it was a navy blue and white houndstooth pattern wool dress. And for some reason, I decided I guess I was becoming my own person. I bought a red patent leather belt to wear with it and red patent leather shoes and a matching red patent leather purse. And I remember that this was my most special outfit ever. But I remember wearing that to see that movie. And then the story hit us right between the eyes because those kids, Romeo and Juliet, were even younger than us, and that their lives ended. It was so sad. But the movie was so beautiful. And it affected me to the point, you got to remember, this is a long time ago. My only access to the movie, I went out and with my babysitting money, I bought the final recording, the record set that had the whole movie soundtrack, all the speech and everything. And then it had a booklet with it that had all the words. I don't know what's ever become of that box set, but boy, that was one of my prized possessions. One, I got to buy it with my own money. And two, I got to listen to that movie over and over, whereas my daughter's generation would have watched the video over and over.
When you went to the Temple Theater, is that something that you did on a regular basis, or was this something extra special because it was Shakespeare brought you together?
Usually my girlfriends and I, we only went to special movies. It wasn't until I started dating in the last half of my senior year that I went to movies every weekend because that's all you could do on a date back then. But the girls went to the movie. And we only went to special things that were special to us. My other memory of the Temple Theater is that one girlfriend and I, we really wanted to see the movie Wait Until Dark. But the only time we could do it, I don't know how we got permission to go during the week. It seemed like it was a Tuesday or Wednesday night. And the theater was almost empty. And that's not that's not the setting where you wanted to see Wait Until Dark that had that very frightening ending. When he jumped out at her as she was crossing the room and we thought he was dead, everyone in the place screamed. And you looked around and you realized, oh my gosh, we're all alone just like she was. But those are my two biggest memories of the Temple Theater when I was growing up. And of course, we always looked around and wished it would be restored. And I'm the only one of my high school buddies who's still here in town. And I'm so glad that it has been restored.
Thank you for listening to Theater Stories from the Temple Theater in Saginaw, Michigan. If you have a story you would like to share with our community, please reach out. We look forward to hearing more stories and making new ones.